Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Rhonda Arena in German. I had a vision the other night, and I kept it to think about it, to digest it, to mull it over, and I think I've pretty much figured out what it meant. It's morning time, and I'm sleepy, but anyway, okay. Well, I had this vision right before I woke up, which is usually how it goes, because you're supposed to remember the vision, so you'll wake up right after it, and it'll be clear in your mind, because that's how it goes. And anyway, I had this vision that I was in this place, and it was everything was white in the background. The walls, like it was like a big place, but everything was white. And the distance, I knew it was about summer, especially as I got into the vision. My daughter, who was now grown, but she was with a group of her friends, and she was a teenager again, and they were into the goth movement, the coffee house crowd, the artsy crowd. They were against drugs and drinking, and they sat around in the holler at the park. And they played guitar after school, and they talked about philosophical things. And I was glad she was in with that crowd because they were good. They were good kids. I guess you'd call them indie if you call any kind of music genre. But anyway, I felt very protective of her, and as I always did, I was very protective of my children. And she was with this group, and they were walking in the distance, and they were just kind of faded, shadowy in the distance. And then there was another group of kids, and they were kind of off there a little bit. And I knew they weren't good kids, they were bad kids. And I felt suddenly an urge of protectiveness towards my daughter's group. She was about maybe 15 or something like that. And she did have a big crowd of friends. They all did the same things, believed the same things, hung out together and everything. And I knew this group wasn't good. They were into bad things, and they weren't good people. And all of a sudden, the group appeared in front of me, the bad group, and this girl came out, and she wanted to fight me. And we started to. She was like dressed in. She was a teenager, but she was dressed in all this crepey, lacy veil, like white. It had been white, but it was now something you'd have in your closet for 40 years. It was all yellowish around the edges and crunchy, crinkly. And her whole presence was the same way. She looked like she had old skin. Her nails were like kind of peeling off, and distorted looking. Everything about her was said old and like decaying and um like disgusting, rotting, um old, like something musty. And I just got this skeevy feeling from her, and I didn't even want to touch her. I was like disgusted and revolted and grossed out, and especially since she was like in this condition, even though she was a teenager. And her hair was even like white, and it had her skin was like crepey, like an old, really, really ancient woman, like a mummy almost, but white. Everything was white, and the lace was like had yellow on the edges, and everything was like. And I didn't want to touch her. I was revolted, but I knew I had to fight this girl for some reason to protect my daughter. And so we started wrestling, and I realized she could contort her body to the way that she wanted to, which made it even more creepy. And every time I'd get her, and we were mostly like like girls wrestle. I don't wrestle people. I'm not a brawler or anything, but in the vision, this was what I was doing. Like we were grabbing hands, and like I was trying to my ambition was to get her down to the ground. That would be there was a spot where I would push her down to the ground. But she just kept contorting her body and to get out of my holds. And like I said, I overlooked the fact that she was like decaying, and to get her down so I could keep my daughter safe. And, this is Summer's candle, by the way. I'm holding this up for Summer. Um, anyway, so this went on for a little bit, and she just kept doing that, like contorting and twisting things around in herself. And it was really weird the way she was like doing things that a person can't do. But this was a vision. So, and then I noticed a bunch of people, another group of people, and they were like teachers from the school, and they were older. And there was a woman on the left, and there were a couple men in the background, and they were like shadow at first. Like I saw their shadow. And this was kind of frustrating because every time I kind of got her, and I knew every time I kind of got her, she would contort, and I would lose my grip on her, and our hands were constantly interlocked, and she would like twist out of it. And I knew she could only go on for so long, for spurts of strength, because she was in a decaying kind of uh, condition, and she would give out, and she would have to take a breather. And I knew that I could go on for a long time because I was healthy and strong. Not to say that I really am, that I can, run 2 miles or 3 miles or whatever. I'm just saying in the vision. I knew I was healthy and strong. And I looked at my hands, and I knew that my nails were not falling off, and I was healthy. And I saw my hands, and I saw hers, and hers were like, her nails were falling off and all this stuff like that. And I knew I was, I could do this, but she had to take breaks, which she would, in the meantime, when she took a break, she would contort. So she would, like, I lost grip, so she could take a break. So anyway, these people in the background, they came closer, and then she would put on this show of strength. Like she would suddenly start fighting again, but I knew it was going to be short-lived while they were watching, like they put on a show. Like that she was strong, and because they were coming for her for something, because she was bad, she'd done something wrong. And they were and she did that again, and I was getting frustrated, that this kid won't go down, and then all of a sudden the group came pretty close. They were within like 5 feet of us, and she decided she'd given up, and she collapsed. And she just dropped from my hands, and she was on the ground, like in a like knocked out position, like signing, I give up. And because she couldn't keep that up, she decided she just used up her last strength on the last battle. And now that they come up real close to look real close at her and to what was going on, she just gave up and she collapsed. And I knew that this was what I wanted, for her to, go down and for her to get in trouble and, all that. But it was like it was a half victory. I wanted to take her down. I wanted to do this. It was a half victory. And I was a little disappointed that I hadn't been able to do this. And I just stood there and I was like, well, I guess the point was that they're going to get her, because I was standing here and they were standing there, and she couldn't get away, especially in her condition. So anyway, and then I woke up. It was the end of the vision. I woke up and I said, oh my God, Bobby. I said, am I glad to get out of that? I feel like taking a shower. I said, and I told him real quick, and he said, oh, he always, he's walking back and forth with his coffee and everything. So I determined that the vision meant that my daughter in the distance with her friends was Summer, whom I was represented us in the vision, the people that really care, the people that are more normal. I'm a little weird, okay, I admit it, but the people that are normal, because I had healthy looking, I was strong, the people that are normal, that care about her, the real people that are, you know, I represent us. And my daughter represented Summer, whom I wanted to protect. And I wanted to, you know, keep her safe and everything. The bad people were the people we suspect, not all of us, but many of us suspect. And the girl were Don and Candace and whoever else was involved. And the fact that everything was old and kind of decaying, but she was still a teenager, which meant it's real time, it's normal time. But the things that covered her were old. In fact, this has been going on for a long time. They were decaying. They were old. They were nasty. The things that are coming out about them, they were like, I don't want to touch them. I don't want to even go on. I won't even go on their pages. I don't want to touch them. I find them just totally loathsome. The things that there is coming out about them, that have been coming out about them, it makes me feel, if I would go on their pages, or I would feel dirty. I would feel, you know, because it's so negative, and plus I would pick up negative energy, and plus I don't want anything to interfere with my readings. If I start reading, I don't want anything to interfere. I want to get readings, pure readings, that my mind picks up, not somebody else's suggestion, or I never want to know too much, because then I don't get clear readings. Anyway, so this is the girl, and the way she kept contorting herself is the way the story keeps changing, the way they keep twisting it, to their, whatever they want people to believe, and the religious thing. And then once they kind of think they're, we the public kind of gets them, they twist it to something else. It was a weird contortion type thing. And the old brittle nails like falling off, or like their stories are falling apart. They're rotting. It's something rotting, and it's nasty, and it's old. It goes back, way back. This sick, whatever it is in their family is sick. And it goes way back. It's rotting in the closet. It's like a dead body in the closet. And I didn't want to touch it, but I had to. So anyway, and the people that were coming in the distance, there were 3 shots. The first where they were distant, the second where they were closer, when she really started to, fight me, and the ones when they were very close and she gave up, were 3 stages of the police. I think they're the police, law authority. When they got closer, she put up a big fight, but I knew she could only go in spurts, because she wasn't healthy and she wasn't strong. In other words, they put up a big show in like spurts, because they can't keep it up all the time. That's why you can't. When you're lying, you can't keep this up. You have to take breaks, because you can't lie 100% of the time. So you come out with these stories, and then you go away and take a break while you're thinking up your next story and your next production. And that's what they're doing. And Candace is doing a great job of it, because she's mostly going the other way and making herself look even worse. But so this is what was happening. And I knew I could go on. Like, we're not going anywhere, until we find out the truth. And then when the police, or the teachers, got close enough, she realized she was trapped. She was trapped between me and the teachers, the girl. And she gave up. And she collapsed. Which means we will have a victory. There will be something that will happen that will overturn this case coming up. But it wasn't a total victory. And it was under their terms. It wasn't under our terms. It wasn't like I got her down to the ground, or the police or the teachers jumped on her, or anything like that. It was under their terms because she decided selfishly that she was going to collapse. So that told me that it's going to be on their terms, that they're going to give something up, or somebody's going to confess to something, but it's not going to be totally what we want. It's not going to be, well, this is where she is. We did this, we did that. It wasn't a total come clean. And I've read their cards. And Candace is the holdout. She's going backwards. She doesn't care to come out of these. She's going through hell right now in her mind. And she's just starting to. She wasn't before. I saw her cry at that one of those church things. And that was the first time her face was red. And I read her. I did a reading the other day, and I didn't done one since because that reading told me everything I needed to know. And I believe the reason the police are going to start to move in closer is because they're running out of money. And there's no point in rehashing the property. I believe she's on the property, and the left upper corner of their property where it's very rural, very woodsy, very dense. They'd have to take horses probably in there, cadaver dogs. She's hidden very well. I don't know if they're going to confess to where she is. I don't think so, because that would mean they would have to tell a story. Maybe they'll find a body, but they won't admit that the couple, Candace and Don, will not admit that they had anything to do with it. Something will happen shortly, because they can't take it anymore. They're cracking up. And somebody's going to say something, or something's going to happen. It's going to be a half victory. That was what the vision meant. And I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time, I was happy that at least we got something. And that was, that was the vision, and that was my interpretation. I feel good about it. I feel that that was it. And I will be talking to you, and let's see, do I have anything else to say? No, I don't think so. I think I wanted to have this opportunity. No, I don't think I have anything else to say, but that was what my interpretation was. We are going to have a victory, but it's not going to be a total victory, and it's going to be under their terms, because they're going to say it. It's not going to come because they got caught. It's going to come from them because they gave it up. And there's still going to be a lot of questions to be answered. So there's something good coming up. And so that's it. So we're going to get something. Okay, you take care and stay safe. And a little prayer for Summer, who's in heaven with God.